lane, and every support that comes here to help is helping the way that I do in my games.
Oh, that's so bad because, yeah, that's a free tombstone kill as well. Oh, that sucks for the side of Nouns. This Morphling just became extra massive. That's not what you want to hear if you're Nouns. But Nisha feeling good, and apparently there's more kills to be had. Z-Freak, he's just dead in the backlines, and now Gunnar might be in trouble. Nisha going in for this. Another adaptive strike is not enough for the kill. He's going to kill up. Thanks to the bottle charges, but how does he get out of this?
I mean, he needs a Rolling Thunder, but he gets tapped once, he's dead. He used the Rolling Thunder as well. All right, this is a catastrophe for Nouns.
Yeah, no, this I don't know what to say. It's just Nouns is, they really are falling apart. But I mean, on the other side of it, it's Secret is, this is, you know, they've been here before, right? This is a much more experienced team in general. You got to think maybe a little bit of nerves coming out from Nouns. It's understandable with what is on the line here and everything. But yeah, it's Secret just starting to roll over Nouns at this point. And what do they do to stop this Morphling? More specifically, the Sarda. Again, that's I think the biggest issue that Nouns is really going to be concerned about. This Sardar, not about the Beastmaster, but you see right here, he's just going to bully the Drow at the top lane, and now they're going to get kill Lion again. Z-Freak, okay, never mind. He's actually
barely gets away though. And now the concern is, we said, if you have to bring the Drow up here at this stage, she's not comfortable. So now your Drow's not having a game. Your Lycan isn't really having a game. We probably shouldn't ever mention the Pangolier again. Who recovers this? It almost feels like Nouns are going to be forced into a very early, rotate 4-5 heroes move that either gets them back in the game or puts them completely out of contest.
Don't put down at the tower. It's going to help secure the kill on Nyx Assassin. So a much needed kill for Gunnar. We'll put it that way. Yeah, until we started really talking about this mid lane here, I didn't even notice how much Nisha was dominating that mid lane. But I feel like that shouldn't happen, right? Like it seems like it should have been a bit closer, but it is Nisha after all.
Yeah, not to be that guy that hits the report button too quickly, but typically when supports rotate to my lane, I expect kills, not feats. And Nisha is off to a great start here. 2 kills, 1 assist. Brilliant on the CS side of things, right? Second place only behind his own carry, Slardar. Great start for Secret. I think for Nouns, we're seeing that play I talked about. They're smoking up, and interesting play here. They're looking to utilize Costa Bile on the Drow. Not someone you really say at 9 minutes in the game.
Well, especially when she doesn't have her Gust yet, and I'm not saying that's surprising considering the game state. But yeah, going for a gank, smoke gank without an ability that would certainly help secure a gank. You got to question it a little bit. But at the bottom lane,
who's ganking who? Who's ganking who here?
Here comes the turn. Yeah.
Z-Freak's gone. I don't know how it gets much worse than this, Breaky. I mean, this is worse. Lycan's going down as well. Rolling Thunder's too late. I mean, this was the move for Nouns, and this lead is about to snowball for Secret.
Yeah, Shapeshift diving a tower, pretty risky circumstance, but you can tell they're already feeling the pressure. Consequently, is going to manage to TP out. Nisha, I don't think more kills are to be happening as finally.
Oh my God, Puppy!
Hole, but
Puppy, don't do it to him.
Oh no.
Okay, the Wild Wing Ripper is running out. That was about to be a solo kill against the POS 1 with the POS 5. Instead, it's going to be a kill on the POS 5.
All right, that's some positive, certainly. But the bottom tier 1 being pressured. Yeah, it kind of goes back to that, though, right? Again, you could really feel that Nouns is already desperate. When they're making a play like that, they understand that this laning phase has just gotten completely out of control. They got to try for a pretty YOLO play, and that's exactly what that was. So in that mindset, I certainly get, but the percentages of that play working out right there was certainly very low, and it did not work out. Now, I will say it didn't maybe backfire as much as it could have, but that's just kind of being a glass half full kind of statement there, I suppose. It's still a massive lead for Secret, and they just do not have an answer for this Morphling.
Yeah, the glass is half full, but it might as well be full of what's going to make you feel better on the stage. It's a rough game, and going back to that bot fight, I mean, it's very different if they have Shapeshift and Rolling Thunder, but that was the difference maker. They made that rotation. Rolling Thunder wasn't there in place. They essentially just used their abilities one by one, and, you know, I'm not going to try to oversimplify Dota. It's a very complicated game, but usually when you use your abilities together, you get better outcomes for fights. And let's just say that Nouns is in a situation where they can't afford to hold back anything in these fights.
Yeah, this Slaughter, man, that Mask of Madness, he's already 1,400 gold saved up, so a BKB is well in the works.
He got Lance of Pursuit as well, which is actually disgusting on this hero. So you get the Corrosive Haze, you get the Water Down, you chase with Guardian Sprint, and then they're going to have to run away from you because you're a Slardar ahead. Sure. So you're just dying even quicker and running even slower.
Yeah. Yeah, no, good. Great neutral item to have in that inventory. And Chrysalis picking up the top lane as far as you got Puppy up here using that Centaur. 7 seconds remaining on the Centaur, so wants to try to use it on something, but not going to happen. But mid lane, it's just going to be Nisha beating down the tower, and not much Nouns can do about it. That's never a good feeling when you kind of just have to sit there and watch the other team destroy your tower in front of you at this early on in the game. But pretty much where we're at, and Nisha take the next creep wave. He's already got his Dragonlance, and a lot of progress being made there. But yeah, the BKB on Slaughter, that's the okay. Well, what do you do? In fact, he might actually go for a blink first, which I actually I can see other direction, honestly, but because either item is going to be a massive pickup for Secret. Dare I say, take even more control of this game.
Yeah, I kind of expect a BKB just because they've got some elements of catch, right, to initiate with, and I think it's this idea that you can chase. Like, you should be able to get close enough. But in the meantime, mid lane, Nisha does get the morph off, so not an easy kill. And Primal Roar, it says sit, doggy, sit. Gunnar can only watch as his ultimate feels completely wasted. You get nothing again.
What did I say about the Beast? I mean, this Beastmaster, we haven't even really been talking too much about him. Beastmaster, the Primal Roar, is an amazing tool this game. They did not have any answers for this Beastmaster either, and the Primal Roar lockdown, very significant. I talked about the Shapeshift, wasn't even thinking about Pango, as we saw right there, so... And they're just doing Roshan now, by the way, as Team Secret. This is a free Roshan kill. Going to be very quick with that, thanks to the Haze. That's an Aegis. Who did they give this to? Did they give this to Slaughter? No, probably not.
I think they give it Slaughter.
Oh, they did,
like,
yeah.
Morphling, outside of Lion, there's nothing to stop Morphling from surviving gank attempts, right? And this Lion, it's not like he's going to be blinking on you anytime soon, right? Not with how poor Nouns are at this stage of the game.
He did go to Blink, by the way, on Slaughter, so he has that tool. He is, of course, going to go to BKB next. It's just a matter of what he got first, so... Going to try to make a play here with that Aegis.
There's a DD as well. I don't think they know about it. That's the only upside right now for Nouns. Oh, psych! They've discovered it. So the reason, by the way, he goes to the Blink is because they got Aegis. This is a cool play that you carries can kind of like note down is if you think you can go for Roche in the next few minutes and you're close to having enough for 1 or 2 components of BKB versus Blink, see if you can get Roche. If you can get Roche, no way you're building BKB first.
Sure. Makes sense. Oh wow, next assassin you saw right there. The gust comes out and pops that spiked carapace. That's damage right there.
Yep. He hits hard. He hits very hard at this stage. I mean, it's 200 damage per tap. Then there's the bash damage on top of that. So before you even tap out the Corrosive Haze. And let's keep in mind that a lot of the heroes on Nouns don't exactly have that much armor. You know, you look at the Lycan, he's got 11 total. The Pango's only 10. Lion miraculously has 10. This poor little Undying has free armor against Slaughter.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, minus 15 armor, pretty good tool to have. And they've taken over the Dire jungle. That's happened many times already this game, but that's exactly what you can see. Again, Z-Freak, that's that Z-Freak? Yeah, right, maybe?
Spike Carapace was weighted out perfectly.
Never mind.
Somehow he lives.
I mean, really, the summit is just they did not want to overcommit, which is understandable, I suppose, from Secret. They have a massive lead. They're not just going to throw themselves at that now, so lose your support. Not the end of the world there, but Secret lives, so there's some good news for them. Got a Helm of the Overlord's almost finished, though, on resolution, by the way. You know, this Beastmaster, so already high impact, going to get that much stronger.
Speaking of which... First you don't succeed, maybe go again. Beastmaster being brought low, Rezo doesn't get a chance to throw out the Primal Roar. Great reaction with the finger. Means Gunnar gets to party hard on top of Zayats. Fresh out of the fountain and straight back to where he came from.
Okay. you know what? Couple of solid kills, honestly, for Nouns. And the Finger of Death, I think that's the first time we've even seen it use this game, but big one coming out from Z-Freak to secure that kill on the Beastmaster, so slowing down that Helm of the Overlord, as I just mentioned. But we also see that the Diffusal Blade that was picked up by Pango. Of course, a good start for him in terms of having some bigger impact in this game, and a Hurricane Pike now finished as well on the Drow. We see the Shroud, or the Shard, excuse me, queued up. After that, I know we saw that in the earlier series. Going to be just as useful this game potentially, so a good item to have, but we'll see how impactful.
Yeah, it's actually a really good item to pick in this game. I mean, it's good in most games. I feel like this is a really great shard they created for this hero. But if you think about the heroes on Noun's side, they're designed to draw tension away from the Drow and also kind of protect her, right? You've got the Pangolier, you've got the stuns, you've got the disarms, you've got the Undying, the Clutch Save, you have the heals, as well as drop the Tombstone to slow down pursuits. And of course, a line, we know exactly what this guy's capable of to defend you. Stuns, hexes, it's all there. So there should be these prolonged engagements where Costabile is essentially able to just stand there and keep poking non-stop. There is still a big question mark on positioning, right? Like, if you aren't all in the correct position immediately, I do feel like your Drow dies to this draft in about 2 to 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yes, that's the continuous issue that Nouns is going to have throughout this game. But hey, we saw in that previous fight, if they get a good jump, specifically with that Lion, who's got nearly 1,600 gold saved up. So Lion's Blink Dagger is actually becoming a reality. Wow. Believe it or not, despite the early struggles. Yeah, I mean, it's heavy priority. He only has Tranquil Boots, but hey, a Blink will be a big pickup for the Lion. And
yeah.
Factor.
I mean, you're a Lion. What else do you need? You don't need to worry about regen. You've got your Tranks and, oh, mana? I don't know what that is. How do supports have issues with mana? Why not just stick a Straw in a creep? Ah, man, I miss those YouTube videos.
Which ones?
The Dota Report ones.
Open your face.
Really, really big shout out to Rongchi. Amazing work he used to do for Dota 2.
Ogre Frostmage, by the way, taken over by Enchantress, using that to buff up, gives a nice armor bonus to teammates. They have an Ancient Black Dragon as well now to fight with, thanks to Resolution. And that Helm of the Overlord we were talking about earlier. Aegis has worn out, but Slaughter was busy trying to farm this BKB. It's not here yet, but we have a jump potential. Gunnar.
Tumbler Toy gets him in, stun, but no follow-up. That's squeaky bum time right there. Gunnar is still very vulnerable in this game, having only a Diffusal and a Plate Mail that doesn't even offset the ultimate of Slaughter.
By the flayed one.
Smoke out from now, so 3 of them, Drow included. Does have Gus now, it's level 1, but has the Frost Arrows as well, as we talked about with that Shard. And they're trying to wait out this Lycan, you know, trying to bait him out, I should say, here at the bottom lane. And could get something, it's only Enchantress though, and she'll take the green.
Now that is what we call a history of bad experiences. When you see an Enchantress, you've got 4 heroes here, you're like, do we dive her? And then through their minds, they're getting all the flashbacks. Similar to like Undyings, you just don't do it. You don't know what's behind that. You don't know how long it's really going to take you. It's not worth it.
And to top it all off, the yoink from Enchantress takes the creep of Lycan there, so adding insult to injury there, I suppose. But yeah, we're back to daytime as we hit 20 minutes. And how about Nisha? Where's his progress been on this Morphling? He's got a Dragon Lance, a Manta style, queuing up the Ags. And we just bought at least one of the components for it, so that's well on its way as well. But BKB finished on Slaughter. Talked about that.
Actually, yeah, I just realized what they're doing here. You turn into the Lycan and then you spit on the Slaughter.
Your blood is mine.
There you go.
And everyone dies.
Wow, that's actually a good point.
That's actually disgusting. I just realized it. It's actually violent in this game. I mean, you're going to have BKB. You'll have more than enough time with Zoom movement speed to just get on top of the Drow. The only upside is, I believe, I'm pretty sure Shapeshift is a fixed movement speed, so you can't use Guardian Sprint to exceed it. But I look forward to being proven wrong.
I mean, either way, that's going to be fun to watch, at least from our perspective. if that's truly where they are going for it. Part of me is almost like it's not even necessary, though. It just almost seems like overkill at that point. But that is certainly a potential that we can see here. The morphing alike and then fighting his teammate. So, but for right now, the posturing of Secret is that of we're kind of just taking away most of the map from Nouns, and so they have an 8,000 net worth lead. Nouns is trying to really protect this Drow and doing some dewarding in the process, but again, Drow just doesn't feel like there's that item that's coming that's like, okay, you know, Drow's gonna get this item, now she's online, right? It's still a long ways before Drow is gonna be a true threat in this game for the side of Nouns, and that's nothing against Costa-Villa, it's just the unfortunate circumstance of the draft in this game and how it's really playing out right now, favoring Secret so heavily.
Sure, it's like that person that takes a gap year in college, and that gap year is 10 years long, and the parents are like, so, you know what you're going to do with your life now? And it's the Draw's like, so do you know when you're going to be able to like, support this family? Do you know when you're going to be able to carry us through the hard times? Costa-Villa's like, I'm working on it, you know, I've got a great idea for a venture startup. I just need starting capital in the range of 20K. Oh, gosh.
That's Pango.
Was Pango.
That's Pango with a Lotus Orb. Yeah, was Pango. That's, God, he just melted.
Yeah, it feels like his build is now just pivoting to support Costa-Villa. The problem that we're kind of getting here now is Costa-Villa is being put further on this big kind of podium, but what happens when you take out the foundations, you know? If the Drow is your house, everything around it is the foundations. If you pull them down, the house don't work. That's possibly the worst way to describe houses.
I love the shard choice, by the way, on Slaughter. In fact, he actually just picks it up from Roshan there. Yeah, he had it queued up to buy, but manages to, happens to just pick it up from the Roshan instead, so he can instead work towards that Assault Kyros. But the shard on Slaughter, having that Slithering Crush, applying that haze as well, I mean, that's a massive tool. Talk about the minus armor and the impact it's found to have. Really high value. So, but again, this is Secret. They're a very experienced team, and whatever I'm getting at is they're not overdoing it. You know, I feel like a lot of teams in this case with the leads that they have this earlier on lead, they would really try to push the issue, you know, get aggressive, kind of almost get lost in the fun of it. But Secret, they're still playing it very disciplined, but we got a big fight now.
Oh, yeah, they're going to try to initiate Nisha. That's not the opening you're really looking for here. They do stop him getting the waveform off initially. However, this may be the most underwhelming Rolling Thunder so far. Actually, maybe not. There was that one in the lane where he insta-died. This one at least baited them in a little bit. Prime Roar's going to come out. Lycan, stuck in the middle of a mess he wants no part of. Nouns are going to get ran down. There is no answer to any of Team Secret's scores.
Look at the zombies. I mean, the Tombstone was a great placement in the end. I was going to say they were fighting away from it, but they ended up going back towards the Tombstone on the high ground. So I was like, okay, maybe he's shot here for Nouns. It didn't matter. I mean, even with the horde of zombies all around, the Secret just literally ignored them. They went for the heroes, and that proved to be the right decision there. And that truly is a classic case, though, of one team just being so far ahead in this game. And that was at this point that they didn't need to necessarily play it perfectly. They can play into things like that Tombstone and the placement it was, and still feel confident that they're going to come out on top as they did. Yeah, this Morphling able to even keep the Aegis. He is going to have the Ags finished here in about 500 gold. And then we're going to see not only that combo potential, but just in general, the Ags effect taking place.
Exactly, which is what we saw. Like you mentioned the Tombstone on one side, it was on both sides as well, right? Like Morphling decided to morph into the Undying, which makes him, actually it's kind of a cool idea. So he can keep shifting into Agi and remain pretty tanky. And on top of that, he has the Tombstone to play with, which just offsets any sort of movement speed malice you get affected by. Top lane though, Slardar getting ambitious.
Lotus Orb purging off for Z-Freak, allowing him to get away. You talk about Gunnar with that Rolling Thunder, going to go for the TP play and will be successful. Meanwhile, Moo also able to escape, and so is Z-Freak. So that engagement results in no kills for the side of Secret, but they're just a quick resetting team. This isn't a team that's relying a lot on big cooldowns. You know, this is that Enigma presence that we talked about in the previous series. This is a team that can constantly keep going, and that's exactly what they're going to do. A quick reset. They're now pushing into the top lane. They're going to the base. What do you do if you're now well? That helped, but oh my god, Drow Ranger
no,
getting stunned. Lotus Sword, the Primal Roar locking down himself, but so is Drow.
Gonna chase out Gunnar. He doesn't have the wrong thunder anymore. This is the problem. Like, Nyx gets a bit ambitious there, but because they keep expending these ultimates in precarious situations, they never have the follow-up to get the big kills that maybe could get Nouns back into this game.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those funky moments of resolution. Just kind of accepting the fact that he's going to stun himself with his own Primal Roar, trying to keep Drow in place. But yeah, that's a little too much of a dive. I don't know if they were just on different pages with him and the other cores, or be too much to handle. But either way, this kind of goes back to the point I was talking about before too, where Secret's just discipline. This is not a team that you're going to see overextend too often in a lot of games like this, where frankly many other teams would, it seems like. So they understandably fall back, and they're just going to continue to absorb more of the map control. And bottom lane, they're setting up.
As I like to put it, you remain disciplined, or Puppy gives you the stick. He seems like a guy who'd be willing to beat you. Okay, that's not unfair on him. Well, then though, stuns come out. That's a good damn kill, and they get it quickly.
A big kill on a Slaughter. Z-Freak's gonna lose his life in response, but it's certainly a trade that you're happy with if you're Nouns. And well, that was thanks to the positioning of Gunnar on the Pango. And I know he had a big struggle early on in this game, but honestly, these rolling thunders, yes, there's been some funky ones, some pretty bad ones, not gonna oversell it, but there's been a couple of really good ones, and that was certainly one of them to set up that kill on the Slaughter. Now, Husky gets picked up elsewhere, not the end of the world if you're Nouns, especially with where we're at, but Aegis is going to be reclaimed in a couple of seconds, and that's just more of an inventory slot that Morphling could use for something else, though.
Yeah, so to your point on the Rolling Thunder, I agree. That was Gunnar's best Rolling Thunder so far. Admittedly, the standard wasn't high, but which I like, right? When the standard is low, it's easy to exceed. Now Gunnar, that was popping. Like, if he can actually find that confidence, if he can exceed that one, I can see them starting to take team fights, but this is not the way to start it.
Yeah, getting Primal Roared immediately.
Oh my god, he's still alive.
He manages to stay alive. The Lotus Orb, he's good.
Wait,
oh, never mind.
Why did you say it, Breaky? Why did you say he's good?
I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad, Gunnar. My bad. Yeah, Slaughter. Easy kill for him.
He's like dabbing, right? He's not even like hands on mouse and keyboard anymore. He's like, I survived that. Shield crash, reasonable spell, and then instantly just Slardar there to end that happiness in his life. They do at least get Moo out though. And so far, Moo's doing a decent job of keeping these split pushes going, right? The Summon Wolves has definitely helped a lot with the Ag Shard. And with the big dopey Granite Golem down here, they might even end up getting a tier 2.
Yeah, that's looking like that's very possible. Fortification being used, but Wolf is dead, and never mind. The tier 2 going to stay alive for the time being. Chrysalis down here going to try to kill this Golem. And he'll get the 250. Nice.
Yes, this line. It's okay. He's got Ag Shot. He made them waste an extra 2 seconds. Oh man. Man, I don't know. Like Ag Shot, I feel like I've talked to a few lines and they kind of feel split on whether they really like it or not. Like the idea of spell immune is nice, but at the same time you can't do anything, right? It's cool if you can find a way to use it to bridge the gap until your stuns come off cooldown though.
Z-Freak putting the investment into it this game, and again, we talked about that blank he managed to get, so certainly a nice goal for him to have as well, but more needs to take place for now, and 4-player smoke. An attempt at it. We're at the bottom. They really want this tier 2 tower. They have the ancient Ice Shaman now to help assist get it killed, and they will kill it in the end, so.
I find everyone who finds this to be the most like intimidating ancient in the game.
Like the look of it, yeah.
Yeah, like, and the way it swings. I'm not sure if it's just like I'm numb because I've seen the others for so long. There is just something about this Ice Shaman that it reminds me of, you know what it is? It reminds me of like Labyrinth game mode things that you have to dodge. I'm like, I don't want to be near this. And it has a bomb, you know? Anything that has a bomb, I don't want to be near. Oh my god, speaking of explosions.
Ouch. Dying, that's... You're dead. What are we looking at with Roshan? 4 seconds before the yellow timer.
Why, I mean, it's so contradictory when we say that an Undying's dead. Like, how can you be dead? You know? That's... That's like calling yourself Superman and then being underwhelming.
There's a lot of things like that in these games where you just don't overthink it. Just accept that it's fact. And it happened.
Oh, you never like doing that? Just like questioning the fiber of the game's beings, right?
The fantasy video game that we're playing? No, I don't. It's like, it's fun. It's supposed to be. Some crazy shit.
Send me straight.
Like, you know, if Nyx gets silenced, what does he say? Can he ever say anything again? You can only say Nyx. So.
For the flayed ones.
That's not a deep one. Actually, I am kind of curious. I don't, you know, this is the details we need. Everyone's asking for things with Valve. I still don't fully understand why Nyx only says Nyx.
It's the Pokemon.
So it shall
That's his lore.
Oh,
From
now
another
that I
universe.
like that, Breaky. He's a rejected Pokemon design, which is actually difficult these days because they really set the standard low with ice cream Pokemon.
There's a lot of them out there,
Well, speaking of bug Pokemon, found the Lycan. Will force the shapeshift, but the stun comes out straight away. Forced up to get him out. One more tap, and he would have been mincemeat.
Next assassin
mincemeat.
instead is the mincemeat, yeah. Get away from Moo. Gunner, swashbuckle, Lotus Orb, immediately falls back though. Lion, he's dead. They got the tombstone on the high ground once again, but Nisha, he did his job already, or at least the early part of it.
For the raw twins.
And he's morphing into that drow.
Yep. Hey, that was actually very close. He almost killed Moo. Moo barely got out on about 90 health, courtesy of the Assault Cuirass. You know, usually these Wolfskis fight with no armor, but he wouldn't make that mistake, not up against this much physical damage.
Looking soon as well, level 20. Wait for all attacks targets. And here's Roshan.
Oh, well, let's... So I was about to say, what's the way back in for Nouns? And I'm not going to lie, with this in hand now, the way back may be game 2 short of a miracle. This fight, this upcoming fight is incredibly difficult now. Aegis goes on to the Morph. You've got Cheese on the Slardar. In an ideal world, if Nouns can somehow pop Rezo for free, great. But he's so tanky with a BKB as well. I don't see this being a free kill. How'd the buyback?
Again.
Oh. I guess they got that going for them. But it's like, the issue I do see for Nouns is outside of Drow and maybe like Lion, their buybacks aren't that valuable, right?
Oh, this Pango, he's gonna have to very defensively pop his Rolling Thunder and go for the...
Oh,
That's
no!
not good. The Bash procs connect and he's just dead. The DP play ain't working there, so Slaughter, so Chrysalis. Good find. That started with Puppy finding him initially, and CK again. I know we're not usually supposed to be ones to say that a game's over, but it's, let's be honest, there really isn't much Nouns can do here. It feels like in terms of pulling this off.
Just look at the positives, right? We've seen some animal abuse here. Pangos have been abused. Bugs have been abused. Innocent neutrals have been abused. At least this game's likely to end before Hawks can be abused as well, because there's no Ag Shard yet on Beast.
Could be coming. He's not coming.
Nah.
Still Yakari.
I think this game's going to end before that. Look what Slardar's doing in the mid lane. All on his lonesome.
Kill onto the Lion. The lockdown for Resolution. Then he finds Lycan. Using that proper roar, and Lycan cannot move as a result. He's out for 50. Lion did buy back that Tombstone. Going to be the next target eventually. Kill it out, plus 200. Going the way of Enchantress, believe it or not. Here comes the Rolling Thunder in, but the BKB from Nisha. He's the Drow now. Just beats down the Pango, forces him to fall back. Backdoor protection, anything stopping him. It eventually wears off, and tier 3, it's dead as well. So now it's throwing everything at the side of Secret, attempting to stop them, despite Carapace full stun. Possibility way back there, but it essentially is a free set of racks for Secret. And we talk about discipline. Well, I think it's getting to the point where they could just sit here and push in the base, and again, now really can't stop it.
Yeah, they're going to get the glyph to reset, but right now, I think the more interesting thing to try and predict is whether this game is going to have more thousands of net worth advantage for Secret than minutes pass, because we're getting very close to that point. 32,000 up at the 35-minute mark.
That's pretty high up, yeah. That's pretty good. And you know what, Secret, I'm talking about how they could just easily finish this game now. Feels like, again, maybe they are more disciplined than I was even giving them the credit for. So They're gonna retreat. They're gonna resume farming their own jungle, getting those next tier items that I figure is important. I guess Morphling wants to finish that Swift Blink, and it's coming, so gotta at least the Blink Dagger part of it.
It's the classic evolution of Dota, right? Like, there used to be days where teams would have went back in for that second set of racks, but teams just understand. After you just take one lane alone, you have so much gold fresh in the bank. Just back off, get your next items coming again. And from Team Secret's perspective, it makes a lot of sense to play composed. I mean, sure, they're dominating, but they didn't dominate the regionals. They're here in the last chance qualifiers. So treat every single team with the correct amount of respect. But there's no respect for this drought. Oh my god!
See ya. And that's exactly what we've been talking about as far as the potential throughout this whole game. If they can jump Drow, which they have all the tools to do so, she will just evaporate. And we see that there. Now, that hasn't happened a lot this game, to be fair. In fact, that's the first death for Costume Billy, but it finally does happen. And that really does feel like that should be the nail in the coffin now. But below, they're pushing the tier 3, but meanwhile,
oh my god,
gets
the
picked up in the back lanes, but Slardar is just on fire now.
4 heroes! Slardar came to play. Just like that, it feels like you can't fight anymore. Sure, you can take out a beast on his own with your whole team, but when Papa Chrysalis comes a-calling, you better get running.
So with 3 players dead on the side of Nouns. Again, Secret, they still have an Aegis, they got the T's, working into the base, going for the top set of racks. You got Nietzsche up here. He's going to be joined by his next assassin. They take out Pango. And I think game number 2 is in the making here of this series, because I'm guessing Secret is going to be going 1-0. Well, now it's okay. Well, maybe I called it too soon. They're hanging into the bitter end.
They're like, I've had worse experiences. I've been playing in NA for years. You think this is bad? I'm only getting started. Okay, scrap that. That is chalked. There's no way anymore. They still won't call it, but man, what an absolute dominant showing. Secret, I didn't get a chance to catch the earlier series from Nouns, but so far they've been unable to take a game, and I am very much struggling to see a way they're going to take a game this series.
Well, you know, it starts with the draft, right? The fresh draft, I do feel like Secret outdrafted pretty much against Nouns. And already a team that's going to be difficult to beat, even if you have some way, somehow, an outdraft against them. You get outdrafted yourself, it's not, you're really limited in the game. So Secret kind of, you know, led their way to success here in game 1, starting with that. But yeah, we're in that overtime phase. I guess we're playing for stats now, and I'm not sure. But now
is this endurance training? Because I feel like this is confidence building for Secret. GG's finally called, but goodness, Nouns, I guess, don't call it until it's done, but there's a difference between making sure that your steak is well cooked and making sure it's burned.
Yeah, I mean, again, obviously it's up to the teams in the end, and I will say part of it could have been in cases like that. Nouns, speaking of the draft, using that time, because there is only so much time as far as the break goes and everything, to maybe start talking it over, right? They're talking about what went wrong here in game 1, what we can prepare for in game 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of that overtime phase, as I like to call it, was certainly that. But Secret, absolutely dominating performance. I mean, there really is no other way to put it. It started with the draft, like I said, and the gameplay itself certainly shined for them. So we'll play Secret.
Yeah, most definitely. It is a very dominant display. And actually, someone I really want to highlight they've done well is Rezo had a bad start to this game. You wouldn't have fought it by the end. And this was to their credit. What they've done is they actually kind of searched across the map. They found a way to re-enable him. The cool thing about Beastmaster is if you just get levels alone, you're still a decent hero, right? You've got a BKB piercing stun, you give attack speed, you can get a little bit of a creep push going with your boars. And they found a great way of leveraging that, especially with Poppy going in for these drums quite quickly in the game. It just gave them the momentum to quickly take out the tier 1s, and all of a sudden you saw this game where Rezo was miles ahead of me on the comparative and Lycan. Just great way to bring a losing lane back into the game, and shows you exactly how Team Secret coordinate to make sure they utilize even the weakest element after the laning phase.
Yeah, and kind of again, kind of off of that, going back to the draft, on paper it didn't really seem like Beastmaster should be able to have a very effective game, and even maybe with not the greatest farm earlier on, having that Primal War alone, having his creep push, were going to be tools that were going to be difficult to deal with for the side of Nouns, and that proved to absolutely be the case. But yeah, again, not much else to really, I think, say here about game number 2 KP, or game number 1, excuse me, KP, as we're going to be hyped for game number 2 now. Going to be coming up to finish off the night, but it's Nouns needs to get hyped because they're still looking for the first win here of the group stages.
Or just Secret needs to get.
I'm not ready.
But it starts here. But all right, so looking at the draft though, you know, Batrider is a hero that I certainly have expected to see quite a bit of here in this event, and we haven't seen actually any Batrider in any of our games. I know he's been banned quite a bit. Nouns does manage to take him in the first 2 though, so they open up with the Batrider to go with the Witch Doctor, but you already got a Nisha Invoker on the other side, and that's a scary hero player combination.
It most definitely is. I do love how Nouns have opened up with the Batrider plus the Witch Doctor, though. I think we've already seen Witch Doctor today, how impactful it can be. It draws a lot of attention towards it. But I think you're right to highlight this Invoker. It's actually, I think Invoker is a really good solution to Witch Doctor, because if you're going to stand still and cast spells, well, great, I'm just going to Sunstrike you. There's plenty of ways you can disrupt from afar, right, with Cyclone. So it's not an easy game for a Witch Doctor to find impact in mid-game fights. I think Nouns is going to have to find a way to maximize what WD can do in the later phase of this game.
Yeah. Templar Assassin already coming out for Nouns, so traps that matchup into the Invoker. Don't want to have, but now Team Secret deciding on who they want to go with their at least 3rd pick and then 4th to follow. And you know, something you were actually mentioning kind of Austin as we're just coming back is how fast these drafts have felt like they've been going. But I mean, you look at Secret's using a bit of reserve time on this one. They definitely are putting some thought now into what's already only even the 3rd pick.
Yeah, I think like this is the pivot point. I think different teams kind of have this. The goal now for Puppy is to lock in his next 2 picks very clearly, and then understand the bans for like the final phase kind of ahead of time. So this is where the whole draft will really start to come together. Some people like to kind of, you know, figure this out right at the beginning. Like there are people, I mean, he doesn't play anymore, but I'm always reminded like Peter. PPD used to be a classic guy that would lock in more or less his first 4 picks at the start, and it'd be very hard to get him off that. Whereas the more kind of standard way is very clear opener and then just take all your time here, because the rest should kind of create itself. Unless your opponent comes out with a really cheesy off-the-cuff pick, it should be very hard to pull you off of what your draft's now going to be.
Yeah, you know, I had the chance to watch a bit of the Western European qualifiers, and of course Secret being a part of that, watching a bit of their game specifically, and I gotta say, this is looking like a Zach replica of so many of those drafts, especially with that Monkey King. Now, Silencer is a bit of a twist as I'm saying that. Interesting. Now, up against the Batrider could certainly be a powerful tool, kind of a similar idea to the Black Hole Stopper, in this case, the Lasso Stopper. Decent against TA, I suppose. So, yeah, 4th pick Silencer, though, for Team Secret.
Yeah, but something we can't underrate here is that this is a goated Monkey King player. Right? This guy, just to remind people, Chrysalis began his career as a Monkey King spammer. It's still his most picked hero. If Mu gets off to a good start, I think Nouns actually has presence across the map to make this game uncomfortable for Secret. Yeah, bot lane is just this... Okay. I've been there before. That Shards connects, that's a dead Weaver.
Oh, Weaver still might be in trouble.
Yeah, he went Swarm level 2, so no Geminate coming out, but a lot of potential to kill, courtesy of the Witch Doctor as well. Nice find.
That is a kill. He's dead. Next pick. Yep, that's going to secure it. So good find indeed for Nouns. And hey, they have a 2-1 lead. So what was Weaver getting low and thinking that he might have been dead? Not the case. In fact, they get a turn onto the Tusk. So already feeling much better as far as how game 2 is going earlier on. And also feeling much better, KP, is Gunnar in the middle lane. He is 11-3 compared to the 8-1 Invoker. But again, you compare that to the last game, he got wrecked on the Pango against the lane. So much better start this time around.
Also, he has a favorable lane, so he should be doing this well. And the cool thing is that Nisha can't necessarily keep up the farm, not just on the lane, but what comes afterwards. Midas will at least allow him to somewhat compete, but if we start seeing some stats coming out, Gunnar can hit a really good timing on Deso Blink, and that's when this game gets a bit spooky for Secret.
Good job dodging the cask initially with that snowball, just running down Husky. Not gonna be a kill, but really kind of force him out of the lane. Maybe even force him all the way back to base at this point. So certainly mission accomplished there. And Weaver has to respect now that he's by himself. There is a sentry also in the trees, as we see, that can make it easy to make a gank happen if he's not careful. So you can tell Costability, he knows though, he's keeping his distance, and even with that, Resolution's just gonna go in and poke, do some auto attacks.
It's such a hard lane. Like I said, this is probably the best choice to get out of this lane that he had if he wants to benefit the Templar Assassin, but it doesn't make it easy necessarily, because the issue you have in this lane is the Tusk. If the Tusk actually hits an Ice Shards, you're not getting out Shikuchi. And even later on the game, I mean, the Silencer is going to be amazing against you. What I love about the way Secret drafted this Silencer is it's actually not a reactionary Silencer. It's a productive Silencer. You're meant to global to get kills, not to save lives.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's one exactly to kind of force the fight, if anything, and force the panic on the other side, not the reaction. So that's definitely a good point to make there. What are we seeing? Oh, yeah, we're seeing some roaming around. You got the mid lane matchup though. Again, you get Templar Assassin continuing to look a little bit better as far as the creep score. You mentioned favorable lane matchup for him. Wondering also what we're going to see out of TA in terms of the first build. We there's of course using the Blink, the Desolator, and the BKB. Depending on the momentum of the game, does he go for that Blink first? Does he like the Desolator instead? I'm thinking this game probably the Blink to be a little more aggressive with the team, but Costability, by the way, bottom lane is acting in multiple places. He goes down on Weaver, but top lane probably will fall.
And that's a big trade out on both sides. Move, at least make sure his team gets slight better side of it. 2 supports for 1 carry. And, you know, it sounds actually good for Secret, but once again, to emphasize, like, the Weaver is not the win condition. He just needs to somewhat survive the lane. The TA needs to be doing good. So far, she's at least still ticking that box. I swear I'm not huffing Copium right now.
Husky, by the way, trying to get himself denied by the neutrals, but Resolution not letting him do so. Able to kill him first, and Resolution up there with the top farm of the game. In fact, going for Costability once again.
They got him. Poor little Costabile, the little bug who could... Okay, he could with assistance like that. They'll still be able to find him in the end, I think. But that shouldn't have been that hard to achieve. Z3 in the top lane as well. Oh, Chrysalis. He might tap out. If they hit him one more time, but Husky can't find him.
He's still alive? I mean, he's dead, right? Like, they're going to find him. Yeah, Chrysalis still alive. Chrysalis is going to kill. But by the way, Sunstrike killed Clockwork. Nisha, that was a blind, not really a blind, so he knew he was going up there, but he had to guess correctly. And it does manage to land. So multiple things that went very well for the side of Team Secret there, as far as that brawl is concerned.
I mean, they're just starting to outplay. Chrysalis even dodged the final Maledict tick by using the Mischief. Beautifully done there. Not easy to achieve the 0.2 second window. So that keeps him alive. Allows him then also reinitiate and find a kill. Right now, it just feels like Nouns are going to be forced to do what they had to do in game 1, where they make a move kind of ahead of time and bring more heroes than intended. However, compare game 1 to game 2, and I feel like they have a lot less tools to offer from their safe lane and their mid. Instead, all they can offer up is more heads for Secret to munch upon.
Chrysalis, does he die for this, though? It looks like the answer is yes. Sunstruck connects on the Z-Freak, but not enough damage with just a silencer there now to get the turn on to him. So, nice turn at least for the side of Nouns. Getting some immediate revenge for the Batrider. As he managed to kill the Monkey King. But I just keep looking back at Resolution down here in the free form that this Viper is having. What impact we're going to see of that. But there is some insight for Templar Assassin, by the way. Yeah, there's a little bit of harassment at the top lane continues. But he is going to go the Desolator first, so going more the damage farming.
Yeah, I just think you have to. There are heroes on your team that should deliver you kills. The Clockwork can initiate a hook shot. You've got a Batrider that can lasso, Cask as well. That you should be able to reach your opponents. And also, the cool thing about going Des over Blink, you don't put yourself on the clock. If the game goes a little bit later, you haven't sacrificed scalability, right? You can still get decent timing on Blink with this build, especially if your teammates start stacking.
jungle, has those traps also surrounding him. Some nice protection, but 8 minutes kicking in, and it's going to be rune top, and it's going to be Hastrun that spawns, and Husky will protect their foregunner to bottle up, so now Hastrun in the hands of Templar Assassin, but I don't know if we should expect a gank out of him necessarily at this point. He's a Desolator first, I usually, before he really big damage threat.
I'm kind of actually wondering what build Rezo wants to go for this game. One big issue the Vipers typically have is that they are static. They sit in a lane, and people either come to them or they don't. So you have two approaches. You can either try to get mobility, or you can double down on that and just become a force to move down the lanes. I actually like that he went for Phase Boots and now Dragon Lance. I think his goal is just to force them to have to react to him. And in the meantime, elsewhere, people defend. Speaking of which, top lane.
Sunstrike, it's gonna miss right there. Chrysalis does end up falling. The Sunstrike going for the kill on a Weaver, unable to connect. Obviously, that's a very slippery target to catch. Zach, meanwhile, Snowball. He's probably still dead after this. Comes on out and move with the fire put down Gunner. In fact, credit for the kill. Buffy hiding in the trees. They know he's up here somewhere, though. It's a matter of finding him, which it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do for the time being. So Silencer makes it out, but this is transitioning nicely into the top tower kill. And now it's with a very successful fight, especially with the tower kill. And this Templar Assassin is going to have one of the Mithril Hammers now towards that Desolator. So again, I'm kind of making some comparisons to the first game as well, but just really the vibe, the feel of the game, absolutely feeling much better for Nouns and their chances here.
Yeah, it's not just them begging for mercy. It's them actually trying to make Secret the ones pleading for their life. Well, it's actually going to be Nouns member in the bot lane who's going to be begging. Z-Freak thought he could defend this area. Mistakes were made. It's kind of weird. I was about to praise them for not coming bot because of Rezo, right? You don't want to be near the Viper. And then immediately, as soon as I was getting ready to say that, a support thought he could sit here.
I'll say this, I mean, Z-Freak made it take forever. Top lane, by the way, Puppy's gonna fall. The Sunstrike, it misses. Moo manages to avoid it, and he'll TP out to safety as well. So the brawling continues. This is a 9-8 game. We already have 17 hero kills, and we just hit the 10-minute mark.
I actually love how a lot of the games we've cast today have kind of been like this. Like, there's been a lot of bloodbathing going on in the majority of games. Just feels like people gauging what style of Dota they want to do. And they're seeing that if they can get aggression going, you know, it just leads to this snowball effect. Might as well just play towards that advantage. Don't focus on late game farm. And now in the mid lane, Z-Freak, he thought he could commit. He thought it would be clean and simple, but he was wrong. And now that he's forced Rezo to rotate, do you believe this is where you may have to fall for that tier 1?
Yeah, that was very
well.
Well, they didn't have a, especially, again, they didn't know Viper was nearby at some point. They thought they had a free kill on Invoker, or at least attempting for it, but immediately Resolution showed up, and Clockwork knew that he was in trouble. What's up?
This is unexpected. They've actually smoked the Viper, they're heading bot. Husky will cut them off. But interesting choice that they don't even want to take mid. They just want to stick Rezo bot again, and make sure that apparently now heroes have to always come back here.
Yeah, perhaps trying to set up for that kill on the Bat Rider at the bottom lane, but as we saw and mentioned, Witch Doctor cutting him off and takes the sacrificial lamb there as far as falling, but now's the mid-tower push. It's not going to be easy, though. Now's definitely not going to give this up for free. They were going to pop Fortification, and they are setting up a Gunnar. Is he in a bad spot? TP's coming in. The Global Silence used. Refraction has ward up. Zyke on top with that tag team, but it's not enough damage. He's sticking up the poison, but now Resolution in trouble as well. So they kill the TA. They do not get the tower, though, and 3 are dead on the side of
Chrysalis should be able to just about get away. Moo had the lasso coming off cooldown, so gets out just in time. Looking back at that fight, I think there's this weird indecision that was coming out of Team Secret with the Viper. They TP in mid to try and protect the Invoker, then they smoke wrap himself, and then they go back mid again. It feels like they're just trying to do a lot with the Viper, and it comes back to what I was highlighting, that you have two choices with this hero. You either enable him to rotate, but you kind of weaken what he does really well, or you double down on him being this slow, immovable fortress and you park him somewhere. It feels like they're trying to have the best of both worlds, and as a result are being punished.
Can't forget about the Weaver as well. We have the double damage through now and farming up here in the Dire Jungle with the early Falcon Blade. Looking for a Maelstrom. Buffy, that's a hook shot in, and likely to be a free kill. There's going to be a Sunstrike response on Z-Freak, and he's going to be fine though. Last word, oh, maybe not.
Psych. Psych. Okay. He's not getting out.
He's dead. Oh, Moo picked up way down here though.
Wow. Yeah, they dove for tier 2. So yeah, you get Puppey, but you lose one up top, and then you lose a more important kill in the mid. It's kind of funny, actually. Like, if you look at what Noun are doing, they keep seeing Puppey top, and then they keep feeling like this should be a free kill, we should always go for this. And it's starting to feel a bit by design, right? Because Secret are now always in position to punish someone alone elsewhere on the map.
I strike.
Dragonlance finished on Viper, talking about his item progression and working on that Hurricane Pike now.
Too much damage.
The added range. Of course, Monkey King, the Echo Saber. You see that, and then likely even broken up into a BKB.
Smoke movement. Hounds are coming into their own jungle. Might not like what they find. Actually, they like finding this. It's usually a free kill, but it costs them more elsewhere. How this time, Puppey stands his ground. Moo looks irrelevant. Which Dot is going to throw out the ultimate, but the snowball comes through. That's going to bounce the damage over those. Zayat's giving over a secondary. Z-Free going in deep with the hook shot. No one will give over his life, but was praying, hoping that maybe Nouns could turn it into something. Unable to.
There's vision up here for now, so which actually is going to be taken out in the end. So Secret knew that as well, and making sure to get the counter ward out as they do effectively. Yeah, the Sunstrike didn't hit Batrider initially, but didn't matter. They were able to take him out in that fight, and we got a 2-for-2 exchange happening. Monkey King, no, Chrysalis pushing out the bottom and talking about the Echo Saber. It's not going to be delivered for him, but Nisha, he went the Hand of Midas. You know, this is kind of that typical boss X-Over build, especially. Bots, Hand of Midas, BKB now queued up. His farm looking pretty good. He is, in fact, now top of it.
Yeah, it'd feel weird to see an Invoker go Exort and not actually go for the Midas. So definitely a respectable pickup here. Has allowed him to stay ahead of the Templar Assassin all times. Gunnar is doing pretty well, though. 3-1-2, close to having that Blink Dagger. That should be their kind of go time. In an ideal world, Secret are now looking to just avoid deaths, because Nouns, what they want now, they want to find 1 or 2 kills and then turn it into a Roche. Then the Blink comes naturally afterwards, and you start to snowball a little bit. Bot lane, fight elsewhere. Lasso used, but doesn't help him out at all. Moo still stuck in deep here. Will go down the end, but they do at least get an exchange. Monkey King gets killed off. Zayat's as well. The global silence forced out, but still an exchange that favors Secret.
Well, a global silence forced out, but it secures the kill on Weaver, if anything, because he had his ultimate. He had the time lapse, but that's one of the reasons I talked about. The silence there is certainly good against the Weaver, so unable to use that, and it very much so think that's worth the use of the global silence to make sure that kill happens on Weaver, of course. Yeah, Secret now bumps up to about a 3,000 net worth lead overall. So then, and how about Silencer, by the way, too? A couple of bracers picked up, has that fluffy hat towards the Force Staff. So this is a pretty tanky Silencer, believe it or not. Position 5, but Buffy, he's making sure he's staying alive.
Good shot. Oh, that's going to be a big whiff. Nisha, just recalibrate, slide to the right, and you have a freebie there. Nisha was like, oh, thank God, Midas is coming off cooldown. There's nothing worse than sitting there and watching the timer.
I love that, though, because, again, it's mission kill Silencer, but he is taking a Monkey King middle lane. Chrysalis, there's the TP support, though, immediately retreat if you're Weaver.
Yeah, good reactions. DD is now here as well. Like, that's unfortunate, because if you get killed there, then you move south, get the DD. That's a free Roche for Nouns. All of a sudden, though, Secret pick it up, and they go back in the jungle. I've got to give a lot of credit the way they played this jungle. It feels like they've never really been truly forced out of this bot side, and Nouns, they're missing out on a lot of safe farm as a result of that.
The enemy's middle tower has
Going to win in the mid lane, trying to pick up some farm here and try to take out this tier 1 tower. You have the top one. It's right in their favor. Cosmic is going to manage to do so. Never mind. Fortification used at the last second, and now Secret's here to respond. They're smoked up, so really trying to get the greediness of Nouns, but Nouns playing a little too disciplined and retreats before the jump actually happens. So the smoke for a Secret, they'll try to use it further into their jungle. Well, they're going to find a clockwork, and that should be a free kill.
Oh, no. Well, no. He panic hook shot. He forgot the creep from the north corner. I don't think he would have got him out anyway. Like, he was really screwed. It's just unfortunate now, because you've used hook shot as on cooldown for 60 seconds, so you're going to be up in 15 and still useless for another 30.
Radiant.
But Weaver needs that BKB. If anything, that last fight really showed us that to go back to the global silence. So he is working on it next. Get in there.
Yeah, the tough part is he can't BKB before it comes out, though, right? Because otherwise you're going to be silenced anyway. So It's still very uncomfortable in this game. Because if you look at the heroes that Secret have, they could easily force magic immunity out of you early on when you consider Invoker in the mixer.
Ooh.
And oh my god, speaking of the Invoker, move's just a freebie, and he had reinforcements here.
I mean, he makes it look so easy. It's almost frustrating watching Invoker players like this, because it's like everyone, a heavy majority of Invoker players, myself included, you know, we think we could do all these big plays and, you know, make these Sunstrikes happen, but oh, bottom lane, by the way, this is a catch on the Weaver. He's just dead.
That was close, though. He actually, he almost had that. I think that was like one more tick and he gets the time-lapse off in time, but just shows you still how vulnerable he is. Global's at least out of the way, though, and they can move out towards the pit. Actually, thinking about what Secret now have to defend Roche, I do believe Nouns could do this. It's a bit risky, but you need to get your TA this Aegis now that you've got the Blink Dagger. Otherwise, she still can't play the game.
Yeah, as you talked about, I mean, she's working on the Blink, but, hey, or excuse me, the BKB, but if you
Oh,
can get an
puppies. What are you doing here? Hook shot. Oh, they found the Monkey King. Push Nisha back. Lasso comes out. Chrysalis in a world of trouble. Poppy is not here to save you this time. That is most definitely going to be Roche going the way announced.
Yeah. So, again, he won't have the BKB for a little bit, but at this point, very likely could have an Aegis now. If you're Nouns, and you will take that. So, that Desolator coming into play. It's not going to be very fast, but it should be quick enough. I mean, the Secret's coming over, though. They got Invoker. They're not going to give this up for free.
I mean, how do you stop it right now? You haven't got a Blink on Tusk. Your Invoker has got Blink Dagger, but if he goes in alone, he's going to die. I think you just know that this is too late. Aegis going to be